Cornet, all listed as questionable. And Spurs head coach Greg Popovich will miss the remainder of the season. Headlines, they are brought to you by page here. Valve, Linus Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandoilChange.com for 15% off your next draft oil change. And Valve, Linus Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. Reaction now to the Bruins 2-1 loss to the Islanders. Coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Score to the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Around to the far side circle. Here's Marchand.
Good
keep in. Right circle. Shot. Try to go short side high. Hit the outside of the net. 18 seconds left. At the back of the net, Elias Lindholm sends it hard around the far boards. Geekie tipped it. Lohrei kept it in. 10 seconds to go. Lohrei with a shot. Hit a body in front. Knocked away from Pasternak. Lohrei reaching for it at the blue line. Kept it in. Geekie's one-timer. His stick snapped in half. Pasternak back of the net. Trying to bank it in off of Sorokin. And the siren will sound. And the Islanders will celebrate a 2-1 victory as they hang on to win this one and take 2 out of 3 in the season series.
Hi, this is Trent Frederick, and I'm excited.
All right, back here 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Bruins fall tonight to the Islanders 2-1. They were down 2-0. They also had a scary incident tonight with Matt Poitras. And they are winless now out of the break. Mentioned the Poitras incident tonight. Not to mention they were without Charlie McAvoy and Trent Frederick. But just another tough loss for the Bruins tonight. And just, I'm running out of things to say. Like the Islanders, obviously, as you heard there by Ryan Johnson on the call, take 2 out of 3 on the year. But just another devastating loss for the Bruins tonight. This is the place to react. Phone number 617-779-0985. You're heading home from the Garden. How do you feel? What do you think? I mean, I think they're trying. I think the effort's there. A couple of takeaways. I know this was somewhat mentioned throughout the night, but David Pasternak was on the ice not only for the goals that were given up tonight, but a ton late in the game to try to tie the game. And this was the second game in a row now where Jeremy Swayman has given up a goal on a save that he needed to make. And since the Four Nations tournament, he has not been solid whatsoever. And it's just another thing regarding the Bruins this season. Is their goaltending and defense, turnovers. But it was the 11th time getting a third straight start. So this was Swayman's third straight start. He came in 3-5-2. He's allowed 2 goals on 8 shots early in the game. And it's not good for the goaltender right now. And the way that the Bruins are playing, I don't know what the direction is. But this coming from Ty Anderson after the game tonight marked the 31st time this season the Bruins have scored 2 goals or fewer in a game. Only 4 teams have had more of those nights than this season. The Chicago, Anaheim, Nashville, and the Sharks. The Bruins are now, bottom 5 of the league in that category? I mean, it's not pretty. I don't know what else to say. There's effort out there, no doubt. Can't get the timely stops, and certainly can't get the scoring when needed. A little too little, too late. But you're coming home from the game tonight. I'd love to hear from you guys. We're here until 11 o'clock. You got an hour to talk about it. 617-779-0985. I just wanted to mention the Matt Poitras, 7 minutes of ice time tonight on 11 shifts, but took that weird hit on the open door of the Islanders bench. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was cheap. It's just kind of an. Skaz, you saw it. You worked the game tonight. Did you? I thought it was a fair hit. It was just awkward with the door, right?
Yeah, just, wrong place, wrong time. And I've seen Bruins fans getting upset with the backup goalie for opening the door. And it's kind of a bang-bang thing where, forgive me, I can't remember exactly who hit him, but the puck is going the complete opposite way.
Brock Nelson.
I don't think the backup goalie thought that Nelson was going to hit him. I thought he thought Nelson was coming to the bench, and he opened the bench because the puck was so far away. He's like, oh, he's not going to hit him here. He's just opening it to let him in, and then Nelson hits him. Unfortunate. Poitras has been one of the few bright spots this year. Can't stay healthy. Feel bad for the kid. Just a bad spot. But I didn't think it was, malicious or anything like that. It seemed more unfortunate than anything else.
Well, it was originally called a 5-minute major.
I think, and Ryan and Bob talked about it a little bit, I think that was more so they could review it, so they could see what happened, because I don't think they really knew the refs knew what happened. I don't even know if anyone really knew what happened until they went back and replayed it.
Yeah.
Because it was away from the puck.
Man, it was a just weird doorway. Another tough loss for a guy that you either need or needs time to play. And, 20 years old. He's got 1 goal, 11 assists in 28 games. He's had some moments in the minors. Man, just really unfortunate, and just some of the things that they need right now. Frederick we're talking about now. Poitras, McAvoy and Lindholm. It's just, it's falling apart. That was a scary collision tonight. Tough to see that. But Bees lose 2-1 tonight to the Islanders. Skaz, you got anything else, man? Because, do we want to do the Pastrnak thing of him being on the ice and another goal happens? It's real and it's fact. But, we blame...
that is so far not in the problems with this team. If you have any issue with David Pastrnak, then I don't know what team you're watching. He's been on the ice for their last 8 goals. Dating back to February 8th, he's been on the ice for every goal the team scored. Ty Anderson had that earlier tonight. The last goal he saw from the bench was the Zadorov goal in the first period versus Vegas.
So when he's on the ice, they score goals.
Yeah, it's the only time they score goals, Joe.
I'm sure it's more plus than minus, right?
How many breakaways did they have tonight? How many 2-on-1s did they have tonight? They just can't put the puck in the net. And to add to that, Ty again, because he's, the best at this stuff. Unfortunately for him this year, his Twitter is becoming sadder and sadder. I feel bad, but he tweeted, tonight marked the 31st time this season that the Bruins scored 2 goals or fewer in a game. Only 4 teams have had more of those nights this season. The Blackhawks, the Ducks, the Predators, and the Sharks. It's the bottom of the league. They just don't score enough. So, while I haven't been thrilled with Swayman this year, I don't think he's had a great season, especially after the contract. But it's hard to point the finger at Swayman because they just don't score. They don't put the puck in the net. They don't have elite talent outside of Pastrnak that can step up and just bury one when they need to.
And I'm sure people will point to him, in the previous game on the ice, for goals given up or whatever. I want to say that you wish the goaltender had more timely saves. We already know that they're struggling on the blue line. But in reality, they can't score. And without Pastrnak, they don't score. He was on the ice, I don't know how long. They called that timeout late just to give him a breather. Literally, it was all pasta.
Almost 24 minutes tonight.
So we're at 60 games now, Skaz. They're 27, 25, and 8. They have 62 points.
Don't you feel like that feels right, though? That record? Like that's kind of how they felt all year.
Yeah, I'm thinking about historically. When of the last time the Bruins weren't I'll use 100. 95 or 100 points? When's the last time they've finished under that in a full season? And the last time they finished the season with a losing record, which could happen, was 06-07. They finished 35-41-6. The last time was 16-17. They had 95 points, guys.
Yeah, so from 14-15 to 16-17, they never broke 96 points. 9th, and 7th in the East in those years.
And they're at 62 now with 22 games to go and the trade deadline. I mean, do they win more than 35 games? You'd hope, right? And without your two top defensemen, I mean, Swayman's played 3 straight games now?
Yeah, and another thing on that, once again, going to Ty Anderson, but he talks about Swayman. This is Swayman's 11th time getting a third straight start in 24-25. He came into play with a 3-5-2 record and an .888 save percentage in that spot this year. He's allowed 2 goals on 8 shots so far to the game when Ty tweeted that out. So it's like you have an $11 million goalie tandem. You know, why aren't we using it if those are Swayman's numbers in his third straight start? That's just 3-5-2 and an 888 is just you're not going to win games.
I'll agree that they've lost their identity, but Swayman, who plays Saturday now? Do you go back to Swayman or does Korpisalo play against Pittsburgh? Like, you need to win if you want to hang around and be and be in the path of the playoff. You got to win on Saturday. You're just going to throw them out there for 4 straight and I understand you want the top goalie who makes that kind of money out there. But is it better to play Korpisalo so it's not 4 in a row? That's an interesting one. And you know what? Remember earlier this year we were wondering why before the break they didn't play Swayman in the back. Oh, they didn't play him back-to-back when they went with the Islanders. It didn't work, but it wasn't the goaltending that lost the game. It was the turnovers.
Yeah, the one that stands out to me was I think they played Buffalo on a Monday or Tuesday night and then played Colorado at home that Thursday. And Swayman started against Buffalo, and then Korpisalo started against the Avalanche, I believe. And that always stood out to me. It just seems, everything is just a little bit off with this team this year. But when their goaltending's off, I think it just stands out so much more because it's been such a backbone of the team over the last, 15 years, it feels like. Maybe even longer, 20 years. They've relied on goaltending. And I don't know if it's Swayman just not getting a full camp. It feels like we're past that at this point, but it just hasn't been up to snuff. And you hate to say that when they're scoring, 2 goals or fewer every game, but when he's paid what he's paid, you expect him to make some of those saves.
Chuck in our YouTube chat says this team could ruin Joe's appetite. they already did. Oh, your thoughts? You're heading home from the game. You've heard enough from us. What else can we say? It's the same thing after every game. This one, though, so I thought the other night was, demoralizing. I thought that was a backbreaker. This one tonight's a reality. You can't score. You don't get timely goaltending. The defense still struggles. But nobody else can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the frustrating part is you can look at the Maple Leafs and say, well, they have a lot of high-end talent. That's a good hockey team. That's not what people were saying going into this one with the Islanders. So we've mentioned it 3-4 times already. They lost 4 in a row headed into this one too. They hadn't won a game coming out of the Four Nations. They were a team that was sliding just like you, and now you've lost the season series against a team that could be fighting with you for one of those last playoff spots. It hasn't been good enough.
All right, let's go to the phones here. People are coming home from the game. Let's start with Jeremy at the Garden, leaving the Garden. What's up, Jeremy?
I was there at the game. We were playing so sloppy. Nothing seemed like there was any type of cohesion. It was just awful. I think it's time to pull the plug and just reset. Maybe.
Where do you start?
We already fired Montgomery.
Oh, I mean, where do you start though? If you're gonna make the move, where do you start?
Marchand. I would trade Marchand.
I wonder when they're gonna have that conversation. Did you notice Marchand tonight?
I noticed him take a penalty.
I noticed that too. I almost literally was going to say that. 22 minutes. Had that one giveaway, which definitely saw. Wow. I didn't realize he had 7 shots on net. Pastrnak had 9. Whew. Just looking at the shots tonight, Lowry got 4 off from the blue line. Beecher 3. I don't know what's up with Brazil playing only 8 minutes. Never mind. Well, because the contract talk got brought up during the game as well. Coyle 17 minutes tonight. Geeky 21. He struggled tonight to get any shots off. Man, Marchand 7 shots on net tonight. I didn't really notice it. But again, it's hard. Like Skaz, the thing with Skaz, the reason why I'm leaning on him here is you had to work the game and push the buttons. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, are they going to do anything? Like, you know, the other night when they were up 3-0, I didn't feel right about it. I've been a saying on the night show for a very long time. The 3-goal lead is the toughest lead to protect. This one tonight, I thought overtime. I did. I thought overtime for a minute. This is pain. I said this the other night with Bruins fans. Like, you're there every night. You're rooting for the team. We just had a caller that said it's time to pull the plug and to start with Marchand. Let's hear what Brian in Plymouth has to say. Brian.
Yeah, hey, how are you guys?
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I thought we had a great start. They were moving the puck. They were playing well. You get a tough break. You know, Swayman should have had that. But I don't think Marchand and Pastrnak are the problem. I mean, Marchand, these past 3 games, looks like he's been fighting for a spot on the team, fighting to stay in Boston.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think it's when there's problems, Pastrnak and Marchand probably aren't on the top of the list. But with Marchand, I think there's a little bit of leadership there. But go ahead.
I think I got to see more out of Coyle. I think I got to see more out of Zacha. I mean, these guys, they're getting a lot of ice time. They're not putting the puck in the net. They're there. The chances are there. They're just not. They're just not doing it.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the goals that they give up. Remember, they had the line change. Well, they had the penalty. It expired. What was it? Palmieri scored on that goal, right? I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, Nelson had the first shot, and then it was the follow-up. That's what it was. The Boos were out tonight. When Palmieri scored that goal, the Boos were out. But you mentioned the breakaways. Pavel Zacha stopped on a breakaway attempt. Who else was on? Somebody else had a nice breakaway tonight. And then obviously Pastrnak, the goal is 31st of the year. It was his 800th point of his career. I mean, Sorokin was great, don't you think? Oh, Sorokin was awesome tonight. 38 saves. Sometimes you do have to tip your cap to the other team. And I'm not saying the Islanders are any... I mean, they're just a game behind the Bruins at this point. But Sorokin was absolutely outstanding tonight. No doubt about that. Let's talk to Mikey in Rhode Island. Mikey.
Yeah, that power play when they scored off right off the bat, that was kind of brutal to watch from the stands.
What was the vibe like in there tonight?
It was, we had a crap ton of shots, could not score. They go the other way and score. Like, I feel like we dominated on the shots more side, and then. What
about Swayman? What was your thoughts on his night?
I don't think he played that great tonight. In the first period, I think it was 3 shots, and he had like a goal. Like, and then when he went up the second, I don't think it was much more shots.
Yeah, where do you think they start if there's a change?
Maybe try to sign another goalie.
Well, maybe it's Corpusalo on Saturday night, everybody. All right, I see you guys all lined up on the phone lines. Feel free. This is the place to go. We're going to take a quick break. It's you guys the rest of the night. How do you fix this? By the way, there's no fixing. There's no fixing this. But what do you do now? What happens now? March 1st is on Saturday. The trade deadline's the 7th. What do you do now? Because playing the games, they can't get stops and they can't score goals. So now what? We'll have more coming up here on the other side. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
is pregame.
They've been getting wholesale deals for years.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hall.
Puck back to D'Angelo with a near point. Over to the far side. Here's picked off by Zacha. Zacha's got a break. Zacha right down the middle. Goes to his left. Took the shot. Sorokin the save. Here's Pasternak trying to get it back through the slot. Picked off by Horvat. Duclair will lead it ahead to the red line and now dump it in wide of Swayman.
Romanov tried to go D to D out at the blue line. Just put a tape to tape right on Zacha's stick and another odd man rush. 2 breakaways. 4 2-on-1s.
Gotta get one here on one of these. Shot save made by Swayman, rebound, and they score. And it's Kyle Palmieri who puts the Islanders up by 2 early here in the second. So for Kyle Palmieri, his 18th of the year, and a 2-0 lead here for the Islanders.
Well, that was the game-changing sequence tonight. In real time, Zacha the breakaway. I believe it was multiple 4 2-on-1 opportunities, no goals. 2 breakaways. Then, as they say, one of these got to go through. Swayman makes the first save and then the rebound, which seems to be a common theme of late. That rebound has been an issue for Swayman. But, you know, you'll probably see tonight a lot of, like I'm looking at NHL.com right now, they'll get into Pasternak, you know, his 16-goal streak or his game with a goal and then his 800th point, but the Bruins lose. It's like the headline. And I'm reading from Joe McDonald. I really do want – listen, the Bruins have a lot of problems. A lot of problems. But Ilya Sorokin was outstanding tonight. The Islanders needed this. They had a 4-game losing streak heading into it. Was it Romanov and Palmieri scored both the goals. But early on, I know Romanov had that goal to make it 1-0. And he was in the penalty box, right?
Yeah, he had just come out of the box.
And then he jumped out on a 2-on-1.
And I believe Sacco said post-game that was a breakdown.
Oh,
I believe that's what he said.
Heard that a lot lately, right? Breakdowns? Didn't that happen in the last game too?
Yeah. I did think they were better tonight, for what it's worth.
The effort is there. There's no doubt about it. They're trying.
That's kind of the frustrating part, though.
They care. They've had the breakaways. They've had the opportunities. They've made the nice passes. They can't finish. And I in a way, I want to really credit Sorokin. But it's hard because of the way the Bees have played. It's hard to give the Bees a pass for getting stoned by a good goaltender because they have struggled scoring. They scored 3 the other night, but they couldn't stop anything else.
Yeah, it's frustrating because the Islanders just aren't a good team as a whole. Sorokin's a good player, you know, at a top 15 goalie in the league. Some people may argue higher, but tonight he was good, and the Bruins just couldn't put one past them when they needed to. It didn't matter who it was. Like you said, Marchand had a ton of shots. Pasternak had a ton of shots. And you know, Geeky's been good as of late, but the power play wasn't working tonight. That was another thing where they switched up last game and it looked good. They talked about it pregame, how it looked good on the switch, and then tonight it just kind of falls apart again.
It's something. There's just no consistency. I know the kill hurt them last time. The change hurt them tonight. They had the breakaways. They couldn't get them. The rebound with Swayman is something I would look at. But I just saw this quote from Brad Marchand. And I'll put it in Slack for you so you can read it first. Here's, guys, we have the audio. It makes me think that the team realizes they have some issues. I'm not saying white flag or anything like that, like tapping out or anything. But this here from Marchand tonight, this is some sort of signal. So I thought the other night was a devastating loss for the Bees. Tonight might be the demoralizer. I think you should hear the quote. I don't even want to read the quote. When you get it, guys, let me know. But this is one that when you start talking about next year, that's when you know it's over. And to be honest with you, like, we know that they're a disappointing team this year, but knowing that they're just a couple of games out of a playoff spot, there's still time remaining, there's still the trade deadline, teams should be thinking about everything that they can do to get into the playoffs. I'll tell you, the number one thing about the Bees is they have the effort. There's no doubt about it. They're working on things. I think Sacco talked about the power play. They're still sloppy in some ends, and it's got a lot to do with, I think, the injuries and the ice time, and there are guys playing more ice time than they ever have. But when you start talking about next year and you're only a few games out, this is the quote after the game tonight from Captain Brad Marchand.
I think the biggest thing is when you go through adversity, and it comes in all kinds of different ways, and it really just tests your character, and there's ways you got to try to find to work through it. And usually the way you do that is as a group, and it does. At the end of the day, you don't always achieve every goal you're shooting for, but that's what builds great bonds and great friendships when you go through this adversity together. And we're doing that. Obviously, it hasn't been the season that we've wanted, and we haven't had the success that we would have liked this time of the year. But the good thing is that we're coming together over it, and at the end of the day, we may not achieve what we hope to this year, but that doesn't mean that we can't build for something greater and bring it back next year.
Oh, that final quote there. At the end of the day, we may not achieve what we hope this year, but that doesn't mean that we can't build for something greater and bring it back next year. Next year? Next year?
Yeah, and there's like 30 seconds more in that clip, and he says, we're going to do everything right. We're working hard to keep it going this year, but
okay.
That was the headline.
That other stuff, Skaz, that other stuff, he may have said it, and thank you for clarifying it, but that's all I heard. That's all I got. We may not achieve what we hope to this year, but that doesn't mean that we can't build for something greater and bring it back next year. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Jim's in Florida. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, that is a damning quote right there. Man, I feel like this is a rudderless ship right now. I think this team is going to be going down south. I think I got a bad feeling that within the next, call it 10 to 15 games, that they're going to be out of the playoff picture. And to answer your question, Joe, what do you do right now? I think Marchand's right. I think Don Sweeney needs to start planning for the future. And I don't know. I think you got to look at your pieces and who can you trade and what can you get back for, top dollar.
Well, right now, Brazeau played 8 minutes tonight, and there's no real talk about an extension. I thought you could sell him high and get something back. At this point, if he's only going to play 8 minutes, why don't you just move on from him and try to get I don't know. I don't even know what you could get.
I think there's a double whammy here because I would trade McAvoy because I think you could get the most for McAvoy.
Yeah, but
because he's injured.
Well, bring up.
I don't know.
That brings up another one. What about Trent Frederick right now? Right, guy who could have been a third line center for a contender.
Yeah, that would be a good piece. I would take him. I wouldn't. If I'm a general manager and I'm looking at Pasternak, I think he's soft on the puck. I mean, yeah, he may or may not produce, but if I'm going into the playoffs, I know I'm a playoff team. I know I'm a good team. I don't want a guy who's soft on the puck, and plus there's that contract too. So
yeah, I just the problem right now, Jim. I mean, I don't want to defend Pasternak, but I think he is literally all they have.
I mean, this loss tonight was worse than the Toronto loss. I think by a lot, actually. Because Toronto's a good team. You know, they're eventually going to beat you because they are better than you. But come on. And another issue with this team, leadership.
Yeah.
Okay, Marchand with that bad penalty, complaining to the refs the way he does, and with that quote, oh man, I mean I'm telling you, man, it's a rudderless ship. This could get bad. This could go south real fast.
Thanks, man. Got anything else there to add, Skez?
I mean, any team that's in the playoffs would be ecstatic to have David Pastrnak on their team. Let's not get crazy, Joe.
They're not trading Pastrnak.
Yeah, he's played 90 career playoff games. He has 87 points. He's basically a point per game guy in the playoffs. The Pastrnak thing, that's your complaint about the team right now? That's your issue? Like, I get it. He's the biggest name on the roster, but he's doing his part.
Can I just
his job is to score goals.
Absolutely. Just to I think I know what the caller's trying to say.
Yeah, trade the best player. That usually works.
No, I mean it more as he says soft on the puck. I think that there's extra pressure. Now. He's getting more pressure and still scoring.
You know who's really tough on the puck? Nikita Zadorov. How's that worked out for you?
He's real tough on the puck. I heard he was a tough guy.
He spends most of the game in the penalty box anyway.
We got to look that up. This is like we can get that sponsored, right?
I don't think he was in the box tonight, Joe.
He wasn't in the last game either. Well, he played 18 minutes tonight. But the thing with Pastrnak is, I'll say this for the people who want to say he's soft on the puck, he is getting torched out there. And yes, he does have a slip up every once in a while. All that's happening, and he's still producing. So it's hard for me to get on him. I'm just not. It's not where I start. It's not even. How can you say that? They're not trading him. And Skaz pointed out earlier, Ty Anderson had it. Their last 8 goals, he's been on the ice for all of them. He's all they have. It could get ugly though, Skaz, too. Like, it could get ugly if they are out of a playoff push and Pasternak's out there and there's really nothing else. Do you want him on the ice for all that? Mike is in Buffalo. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, people don't realize they dominated that game from start to finish. A lot of goaltenders go in Boston. They stand on their head. It's just one of those things as far as I'm concerned. They dominated the game for 3 periods, and the guy stood on his head, and he wins the game. He wins the game. And a lot of goaltenders go into Boston and stand on their head. So it wasn't lack of effort. The guy stood on his head. That's all I got to say.
Mike, I don't disagree with you. I thought Sorokin was awesome tonight.
Did he stand on his head, Joe?
He didn't stand literally on his head, but that's the saying, right? No, I honestly, to back him, though, there have been worse goaltenders who've looked really good against the Bruins.
I mean, I'll never forget Braden Holtby just dominating the Bruins for what felt like 3 straight seasons.
But there have been some nights where just that guy did that. Sorokin was off. The Islanders needed their goalie to win them a game. They've lost 4 straight. They needed it to stay alive. If you want to break it down like that, the Bruins had multiple breakaway 2-on-1 chances that were stoned. Multiple. Like 4, 6, 8. Sorokin was outstanding tonight. Problem is this. It's happening too much now. They're still in it. I'm just curious, where do you start to... I mean, do they have to restock. It's not like you can go out and get some sort of defenseman to stop the bleeding, right? Your boy Wallstrom's got let go today. He's out. See ya.
Kind of odd they let him lead the stretch this morning. Said
goodbye.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just miscommunication there between
waivers.
Yeah,
Back, I
don't know. Oh, that was interesting.
Lead the stretch today, then we're going to cut your ass. All right. Well, listen, I'm running out of answers. But I do think Sorokin was awesome tonight. I do. It's just that when you can't score and you have multiple breakaways, it's a theme. It's a theme through 60 games. All right, we'll take a quick break. Get the last headline of the night. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drink.
Sports Hub.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. Just want to let everyone know, intern Josh tonight just got our instant reactions. And we posted it, he's got it on TikTok. I just posted it to my Twitter, at Joey Murr. Posted to I'm Joe Murray if you want to do that. Skaz was on there, too. You look defeated.
Yeah, I need a haircut, Joe. I need a haircut bad.
Who do you have a haircut with tomorrow?
I don't know. I get my guy's busy.
No, but you said you had someone tomorrow.
Might have to go rogue, yeah.
Yeah?
And just go somewhere else, which I feel guilty about, but you got to do what you got to do.
It's funny because I've told Skaz that there is 6 barbers near the radio station.
Yeah, I got not long hair by any means, but longer hair, so I feel like I need a shower after I get a haircut.
There's been times where I've said to you, you need a haircut?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you're at that point right now. Getting
close.
Yeah, I don't think you're there. But
last time was bad.
Listen, I got to shave. I need to shave my head. I get Costanza. I'm a bald-headed man, but I keep it shaved, and then when it grows back so fast that it just grows on the sides. See, everybody? It just grows on the sides like this. But anyways, we did it. Intern Josh got our instant reactions. Shout out to Josh tonight. This coming in from the Joe Murray research team. Should we just give a Linus Ullmark update or no?
Why not, Joe? Why not?
It just
feels relevant. It feels relevant.
It's more of an Ottawa Senators thing, but because I know he missed a little bit of time. But did you know entering the season, Ottawa had 1 winning season in the last 7 years? 1. Right now, they're 29, 25, and 4 with 62 points. The same amount of points as the Boston Bruins. Oof, it hurts. It hurts. I'll never forget the day that we would literally do radio discussions about, can 2 goaltenders work? Will it work? Will they do it in the playoffs? Can it work? And once they changed it, it all went to hell. Facts. We only work in fact. More from the Joe Murray research team. Ullmark has a 2.66 goals against in 26 starts. In half his starts, 13, he has allowed 2 goals or less. And only 4 or more goals in 8 games. I won't even give you the Swayman numbers because you know they're not good. I hate to go Ullmark on you. They lost their identity. It's been gone for a while. It's long gone now. They traded Ullmark. They got Korpisalo and a first-round pick in Dean Letourneau, who has 0 goals. There's a lot more wrong with this team. There's a lot more wrong, but it's so easy to say what happened. They lost their identities. What happened? Now, Ullmark scored a goal, right? I mean, at least he could score goals. Sorry. I'm sorry. Ugh. Well, you know what? Nate's in New Hampshire. What do you got, Nate, for me?
Joe, how you doing, man?
Yeah, what do you got, buddy?
WWE question.
Oh, thank you. What do you got?
All right. Who do you got winning Elimination Chamber, and who do you want to win Elimination Chamber?
Okay. I want CM Punk. I think John Cena.
I am with you on Cena. I find myself pulling for Damian Priest these days, which I never thought I'd say out loud. But
wild card.
Yeah, he's had a great run the last year and a half, I'd say.
He has. How about this one? CM Punk Cody at Mania, but Cody's in the Punk corner, is in the Rock's corner, and he calls in the favor to Paul Heyman, and Roman has CM Punk's back.
Ooh. Okay.
Thank you. Did you get that ooh?
Are we gonna have to start adding wrestling oohs to the folder of food oohs?
Ooh. Well, I needed that wrestling call. Needed that one. Guys, I don't know what. If tomorrow it's like, hey, the Bruins traded, Morgan Geekie, I'd be like, all right, it's begun. But that Marchand quote, that one stood out to me, man. This hour of the sports has been brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com to save 15% off your next draft oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It's the official oil change of busy people. Hey, tomorrow night, Celtics, Cavs for first place. Not really, but it is. Thank you, Josh. Excellent job tonight. You got our videos up for us. James Scaramazino put in that work tonight. Thank you, Scaz. I'm Joe Murray. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Celtics, Cavs, boom!
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.